If you're a die-hard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. In a devastating blow to the Cleveland Browns defense, cornerback Martin Emerson Jr. has been ruled out for the entire 2025 NFL season after suffering a torn left Achilles during a routine practice. The injury occurred in a 7-on-7 drill on Tuesday with no contact involved, which only added to the shock for teammates and coaches watching from the sidelines. Emerson went down awkwardly and was quickly tended to by medical staff before being carted off the field. There was immediate concern, and head coach Kevin Stefanski confirmed the worst on Wednesday morning. The talented young cornerback will need surgery and is officially sidelined for the year. It's a tough moment for the Browns, who have been building one of the league's most exciting young defensive units, and losing Emerson is more than just losing a starter. It's losing a leader in the secondary, a player whose physicality and football IQ have consistently elevated Cleveland's defense to new levels. Emerson's injury doesn't just sting because of his individual skill set. It's also about timing. The 24-year-old was entering the final year of his rookie contract, a pivotal season for his future in the league. With free agency on the horizon, this year was supposed to be Emerson's chance to prove himself as a cornerstone for the Browns or another team willing to invest in a high upside defensive back. Through 3 seasons, Emerson compiled 202 tackles, 4 interceptions, and brought a physical edge that became a signature trait of Cleveland's secondary. Just last season, he started 15 games and recorded 80 tackles, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery, all while matching up against some of the league's top receivers. The fact that this happened without contact is a grim reminder of how fragile an NFL career can be, and how quickly plans and projections can be wiped away with one unfortunate step. Head coach Kevin Stefanski addressed the media with a somber tone, visibly affected by the loss of one of his most dependable defenders. "It's the worst part of the game," Stefanski said. "Injuries like this, especially to a guy like MJ who gives everything on and off the field, hit hard. But I know what he's made of. He's tough, he's resilient, and he's got the heart to come back from this stronger." Stefanski went on to stress that Emerson is still a major part of the team's identity, even if he won't be on the field this year. "He's a big presence in that locker room. He's a leader. He's smart. Guys look up to him. So while it's brutal not having him play, we're still counting on his voice and presence throughout the season," the coach added. That sentiment underscores just how valuable Emerson has become in a short span, not just with his play, but his impact on the team culture. The Browns have dealt with their share of injuries over the years, but this one cuts particularly deep. Given how well Emerson was performing, after being selected in the 3rd round of the 2022 NFL Draft out of Mississippi State, Emerson quickly adapted to the pro game, showcasing elite instincts and the physical tools to match. His ability to read plays, disrupt passing lanes, and tackle in space made him one of the most promising young defensive backs in the AFC. While not the flashiest name on Cleveland's roster, Emerson's consistency was his calling card. Week after week, he matched up against some of the toughest receivers and rarely backed down. His aggressive yet disciplined approach to coverage earned the trust of his coaches and the respect of opponents. The Browns secondary will now have to look to younger players or potential free agents to fill the void, though finding someone who replicates Emerson's combination of size, skill, and leadership won't be easy. Beyond the X's and O's, there's a very human element to this story. Emerson is reportedly hurting, as Stefanski put it, both physically and emotionally. These athletes dedicate their lives to their craft. Early mornings, countless film sessions, brutal conditioning, constant pressure to perform. And for it all to come to a halt in an instant is mentally taxing. The Achilles injury is particularly daunting, often requiring up to a year of recovery and extensive rehabilitation just to return to form. And even then, there's no guarantee a player will regain their pre-injury explosiveness. Emerson faces a long road ahead, one that demands not only physical endurance but emotional strength. Yet if there's one silver lining, it's that he's got the full support of his teammates, coaching staff, and the organization behind him. That kind of backing can't heal the tendon, but it can make a world of difference during the darkest moments of recovery. As Cleveland fans absorb the shock of this news, the question now turns to what comes next for the Browns' defense. The team had high hopes heading into training camp, especially for the secondary, which was expected to be a strength this year. Denzel Ward remains a lockdown corner, and Greg Newsome Detective has shown flashes of brilliance, but Emerson was viewed as the glue, the steady hand capable of shadowing big receivers while providing run support on the edge. Losing him reshapes the cornerback depth chart entirely and could prompt general manager Andrew Berry to explore trades or veteran free agents in the coming weeks. Names like Marcus Peters or Casey Hayward, experienced corners still on the market, could now get a look. But make no mistake, whoever steps in will have massive shoes to fill, both in terms of performance and locker room presence. Despite the setback, there is hope for Emerson's future. Achilles injuries are no longer the career enders they once were, thanks to advancements in sports medicine and rehabilitation techniques. Players like Cam Akers, Emmanuel Sanders, and even Kevin Durant in the NBA have returned from similar injuries. To resume high-level play, Emerson's age also works in his favor. At just 24, his body still has the resilience and recovery potential that older players often lack. With a strong medical team and access to world-class facilities, he's in the best position possible to mount a successful comeback. That doesn't lessen the pain of missing a full season, especially one that was poised to be a breakout year, but it does offer a sliver of optimism. If there's anyone built to face this challenge head-on, it's Martin Emerson Jr. What makes Emerson's story even more compelling is how he got here in the first place. Coming out of Mississippi State, he wasn't seen as a can't-miss prospect. There were questions about his speed, his adaptability to pro-level schemes, and whether he could consistently cover elite NFL receivers. But from the moment he stepped on the field, he silenced doubters. He quickly carved out a role on special teams, then began to earn snaps in nickel packages, eventually becoming a full-time starter by his second season. Emerson brought a no-nonsense blue-collar approach to the game that endeared him to coaches and fans alike. Every snap he played felt like a battle, and more often than not, he came out on top. That journey, from mid-round pick to cornerstone of a top-tier defense, isn't just a testament to his talent, but to his grit. That same grit will now be tested more than ever. It's never easy to see a young player's momentum stopped by injury, especially when that player was on the brink of taking the next big leap. For the Browns, this injury is more than just a personnel loss. It's a hit to their identity. Emerson embodied everything Cleveland wanted to be on defense. Tough, smart, and relentless. His voice in the locker room, his discipline on the field, and his leadership by example helped mold the Browns into one of the NFL's most feared defensive units. Now, the rest of the team will have to rally and find a way to move forward without him, all while keeping his spirit alive in how they play. And for Emerson, the focus shifts to recovery. It won't be easy and it won't be quick. But if his rise over the past 3 years is any indication, don't bet against him. He's already defied expectations once. He can do it again. There are injuries like this remind us of the cruel nature of football. For every highlight reel catch or game-saving tackle, there's a player pushing through pain or suffering in silence. Martin Emerson Jr. won't be suiting up this season, but his impact on the Browns is far from over. His story isn't paused. It's entering a new chapter. This isn't the ending anyone wanted, but it could be the beginning of something even greater down the line. Comeback stories have always been part of what makes sports so powerful. They speak to resilience, to hope, to the unbreakable will of athletes who refuse to let setbacks define them. Browns fans, coaches, and teammates will be rooting for Emerson every step of the way. And when he does return, because make no mistake, he will, he won't just be the same player. He'll be stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever to leave his mark on the game. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. Aaron Donald signs with the Browns. Now I'm going after my last title. That's the sentence that's rocking the NFL world this week. And if the rumors are true, we might be on the verge of witnessing one of the most shocking late career moves in recent memory. According to multiple sources close to the situation, None confirmed officially, of course. The three-time Defensive Player of the Year and future Hall of Famer may have decided to come out of retirement for one last shot at glory. And the destination, none other than the Cleveland Browns, a team long known for heartbreak, chaos, and unmet potential, but one that's quietly built one of the nastiest defenses in football. If Donald's really heading to Cleveland, this could signal a seismic shift in the AFC North. Picture it now. Myles Garrett on one end, Aaron Donald in the middle. Offensive coordinators just started sweating. What makes this rumor even more believable is how Donald left the door open when he retired. He never used the words, "I'm done for good," and that silence speaks volumes. He's always been the kind of guy who moves in silence, surprises everyone, and lets his play do the talking. And if you've been paying attention, the Browns have been unusually quiet on the free agency front. Until now. Insiders are saying that a private jet from Cleveland landed in Pittsburgh just a week ago. And while no names were attached, it was reportedly there to meet someone important. Donald has always said he'd only come back if the situation was right. A strong roster, a real shot at a title, and a defense that could carry the weight. With Cleveland's roster, especially on defense, it's easy to imagine that pitch being made and accepted. From a football perspective, this move makes almost too much sense. The Browns have arguably one of the most complete defensive units in the NFL, and adding a veteran like Donald, even for just a year, could be the piece that tips the balance in their favor. Let's not forget the Browns came close last season, and they've got Deshaun Watson returning at full strength, Nick Chubb rehabbing like a man possessed, and a defense led by the reigning Defensive Player of the Year in Myles Garrett. Aaron Donald, even at 33, still demands double teams. That alone frees up lanes for blitzes, pressures, and chaos. For a Browns defense that already terrified quarterbacks, Donald's presence could elevate them to the most feared unit in the league. It's a match that sounds like fiction until it becomes real. But let's talk legacy, because that's what this move could truly be about. Aaron Donald has done everything a player can do in the NFL. Defensive accolades, Pro Bowls, All-Pros, a Super Bowl ring. The man has nothing left to prove. So why return? Why take the punishment, the grind, the physical toll? It's simple. Legacy. Not personal, but historic. Donald knows that with a second Super Bowl title, and especially one won with a franchise like the Browns, his place in football lore moves from greatness to legend. Imagine the narrative. The man who dominated a decade, stepped away, and then came back to lift one of the league's most tortured franchises to glory. That's Hollywood stuff, and ironically, the man who once starred in LA might now be writing his greatest script in Cleveland. This potential move also says a lot about the Browns organization. For decades, they were the punchline, rotating coaches, inconsistent quarterbacks, and front office dysfunction. But in the last 3 years, something's shifted. The team has been more disciplined, more calculated, and more aggressive in building a winning culture. If Donald truly signs, it means he believes in that culture. It means he sees what the Browns have built and is willing to put his name and body on the line for it. That's a powerful statement, especially coming from someone as measured and meticulous as Aaron Donald. Veterans don't come out of retirement for chaos. They come back for clarity, purpose, and one last ride. And maybe, just maybe, Donald sees something in Cleveland that we're only beginning to understand. Let's also not ignore the chess match in the AFC North. The Bengals have Joe Burrow. The Ravens have Lamar Jackson. The Steelers are always competitive. But the Browns, with this move, they're making a declaration. We're not here to survive the division. We're here to conquer it. A front 7 featuring Garrett, Donald, Zadarius Smith, and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is downright terrifying. You can already imagine the headlines if this team clicks early. And remember, defense travels in cold weather, in the playoffs, in hostile stadiums. If the Browns can stay healthy and the offense avoids mistakes, they could grind out wins even in low-scoring, brutal matchups. Donald's addition could make them not just playoff contenders, but Super Bowl favorites. Of course, not everyone is convinced this will happen. Some analysts are calling it fantasy, a media ploy, or a misread of off-season rumors. They say Donald's happy in retirement, that he's focused on business, family, and staying healthy. And all that may be true. But players like Donald don't lose the fire easily. And when that fire flickers, Even briefly, it can lead to a return. Just ask guys like Tom Brady, Brett Favre, or even Rob Gronkowski. Retirement is peaceful, but the roar of the crowd, the chase for greatness, and the bond of the locker room, that's hard to replace. If Donald's been staying in shape, and by all accounts he has, then this might not be a comeback driven by ego. It might be a mission. It's also worth noting the reaction from inside the Browns locker room. While nothing has been officially announced, players have been cryptic on social media. A few defensive linemen posted fire emojis. Others posted photos of Donald from his Rams days. Coincidence? Maybe. But in the world of pro sports, where news leaks like water through a sieve, these kinds of posts often precede big announcements. The organization, for its part, is playing coy. No denials, but also no confirmations. That silence might be the loudest signal of all. If the front office was trying to temper expectations, they'd squash the rumor. But right now, they're letting it breathe, letting it grow, and letting fans dream. And what about the fans? Cleveland has some of the most passionate, loyal, and long-suffering supporters in all of sports. For them, this isn't just a signing, it's hope incarnate. They've watched stars come and go. They've endured losing seasons, painful rebuilds, and playoff heartbreak. But this feels different. If Aaron Donald truly suits up in orange and brown, it'll be a moment fans talk about for generations. It's not just about what he brings on the field, it's what his presence represents. Respect, ambition, belief. For once, it feels like Cleveland isn't just chasing success, they're demanding it. And with a warrior like Donald leading the charge, who's going to tell them they can't have it? At the end of the day, until pen hits paper and a press conference is held, it's still a rumor. A tantalizing, thrilling, spine-tingling rumor. But it's one rooted in logic, football, sense, and the heart of a champion looking for one last war. Aaron Donald's legacy is already secured, but legends are made not by what they've done, but by what they dare to do next. If he really is heading to Cleveland, then the entire league better take notice. Because when one of the greatest defensive players of all time joins a team already knocking on the door of greatness, that door doesn't just open, it gets blown off the hinges. And in that rubble, a new dynasty might just begin. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you like the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!